and I want to show you what you should pack for vacation. A little bit about me. Some fun facts. I've never broken a bone in my body. I was a previous raid leader in World of Warcraft for around 5 years. Some hobbies of mine include video games and fitness, and I have a background in the HVAC industry, but I've always loved to code, and I've always loved diving into data sets to figure stuff out. So that's how I ended up here. The motivations for my project is that I'm terrible at packing clothes for any given one day, much less 14-day vacation, for example. So I wanted to be able to forecast temperatures 14 days out, and based on that forecast, give an idea on what you should pack. And to do this, I wanted to start with a proof of concept that was just based off of average temperatures. The average temperatures came from a data set from the United Nations, which had cities all across the world with their average temperatures for any given day since 1995. From there, I was able to turn that into a time series for one singular city and get the average temperatures for any given day. And then from there, I was able to put it into a Ceramax model, train it, and then do predictions based off the fit model that I had. And from there, I was able to have a suggestion based on a range of temperatures. A little bit before we actually get into the model, there were two things that ended up surprising me when I ended up looking at the data. One being that weather is way more erratic than I originally thought, with temperatures diving and going up somewhere around like in the ranges of like 40 degrees sometimes, which was super surprising to me. Another thing that was really surprising was just how similar the patterns of these two cities are. While they have different temperatures, they do share the same pattern, which I was more expecting that Austin would have more consistent temperatures, and Denver, if you've lived here for long enough, you know that our weather is so erratic. It's wild. Something else I wanted to do is go into the parts of my time series. This is for Denver. At the top, you're seeing just the raw series itself. It's just showing the average temperature daily for over 10 years. The next part you're seeing is the trend components, showing how much temperatures are going to go up or down and how it's gone for the past couple of years. And then the next thing you're seeing is the seasonal component. And the reason the seasonal component is important, even though it should be obvious that temperatures are going to be in their own seasons, I just needed to make sure that I was definitely going to use a Ceramax model and not an ARIMA model. Going forward with the model, I was able to originally get, after plotting some correlation plots, a mean absolute error of around 8 degrees Fahrenheit. And then after doing a grid search, I was able to lower that to around 5.75 degrees Fahrenheit. And so essentially all that means is that on average, each of these points are going to be around 5 degrees off, or on average, that's what you would expect. So one thing that really surprised me with these data points, though, is that they actually do follow it pretty well. And even when there's spikes, they sometimes do get those spikes generally. It was super surprising to me. But again, they do still sometimes mess up. That's to be expected with forecasting. But it was a good enough start for me to actually start making suggestions. And so to make those suggestions, this is the same forecasted temperatures that I had before, but I just wanted to have a range of temperatures to show you what my thought process was on recommending certain clothing. So at the top, you see that there's warm weather between 70 and 50 degrees. There's chilly weather between 50 and 30 degrees. There's cold weather between 30 and 10 degrees. And then below 10 degrees, I consider freezing weather. And so as we can see here, there's around 7 days that are chilly weather and 7 days that are cold weather. And so when we put this into my program that I made, we get something that looks a lot like this, where it says there's going to be 0 days above 90 degrees Fahrenheit, 0 days between 70 and 90. And then we also see that there's going to be 7 days that are between 30 and 50 degrees Fahrenheit. There's going to be 7 days between 10 and 30 degrees Fahrenheit. And so my suggestion for you would be bring a medium jacket, some hoodies, and some long sleeve shirts. Conclusions for this is that my model ended up performing fine for at least being able to try and make predictions. However, I would like to make an AWS, I'd like to push my model to an AWS server and actually tune the hyperparameters a little bit better for better performance. I would also like to create a Flask app so that you would be able to go to a website and get my recommendations for what you should wear, what you should be packing for vacation. A couple of other things, I would love to have more variables such as precipitation, humidity, highs and lows versus the average temperature. I think this would make my model perform way better. And then on top of that, with the highs and lows, I can actually give you a range of temperatures that the day is going to be instead of just the mixture of those two temperatures. Finally, I would like to have a recommender model of some sort to just have better recommendations. I know that I tend to be okay with being a little bit more chilly, and other people, they want to be warmer all the time. So, with that, are there any questions?